Hey everyone, so today's price action on the penny stock market was kind of weird. We had a bunch of stocks, just like we saw last week, that would pop up in the morning with seemingly good volume, and then they would just get stuffed and then fall all the way back down. We had many stocks to do this. CHEK in the morning did this. GNPX failed in the morning. MYND failed in the morning. DARE, EYPT, IFON, the list goes on. And we're starting to see this happen more and more often. We're seeing these gappers that seem like they're going to be great plays during pre-market, but then once they open up, they see some resistance at pre-market high or even a bit higher, and then they'll just slam back down because everyone's shorting it. So we're starting to see this shift into not so much volatility during the first 15 minutes of the market open and more towards midday, which is kind of surprising. We haven't been seeing many moves over midday for the past 2 months, but now because the market is being kind of choppy in the morning, my theory is that people who aren't able to make good profits in the morning, they're sticking around, they're watching midday for these chart patterns to develop, just like I did. And once they see the right chart pattern, they're buying it. So there were a few nice runners during midday. There was CHEK and HTBX. I'm going to break down exactly what I mean by this kind of price action so you guys can see exactly what I mean. All in all, today I was down 50 bucks in the morning, and then I was up 150 by the end of the market by the end of the market today. So I was able to make some nice trades on CHEK in the afternoon. I did not use a bunch of volume because it doesn't seem like the time to go aggressive, but I was able to lock in some nice small profit, nothing big, but a nice way to end the month green. The last day of the month is green. That's always good. Hopefully going into next month, May, we will see some more volume in the morning, but if not, then we just have to adapt and learn to trade during midday. So I'm going to break down exactly what I'm talking about in today's video. If you guys enjoy, please leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscription, and stick around to the end of the video for some free goodies. Alright everyone, so we're going to break down the trades of this morning and the price action of this afternoon. I placed one trade this morning on MYND this morning. Let me see exactly where my entry was. I don't have my order window open. Let me see. So I took one trade on MYND. This one popped up on the scanner. I traded this one at 9:51, so pretty late in the day. I usually do most of my trading right near market open, but we just haven't been seeing that volume to justify that kind of move. So MYND, you can see it's kind of choppy. I traded this one on the breakout over this high. So I was looking to see if we could have like a flat top wedge squeeze. So I bought the break over 237. I bought 1,000 shares at 237. And then I didn't take my profits into the spike, which I probably should have because this market was so slow. And then eventually it dropped back down, so I cut my loss just around 233. So lost around 5 cents per share on that one, with commissions 50 bucks. So after that trade, and just after looking at the price action during this morning, let me just bring over my low float movers scanner. You can see a lot of stuff popped up, but there was no follow through. Nothing dominated the scanners. Nothing just kept breaking out. You can see MYND looked promising because it had the most alerts on it, but it just wasn't getting that follow through, and nothing was. You can see everything kind of ran up and then fell back down. Nothing was getting that second leg up, that continuation. And that's what I really want to see if I trade anything in the morning. I want to see stocks that can have a morning spike, they can pull back healthily, do a healthy pullback, that's the word, and then break out of that pullback and do a second leg up, like with your flat top wedges, your 1 minute pullbacks, your flags, your U-shapes, all that kind of stuff. That's what I want to see. I don't want to buy into these spikes that happen right out of the market open, because you don't know if they're going to hold their gains or they're going to slam right back down. Let me just see some examples from this morning. So there was DARE popped up in the morning. You can see this one had a bit of a run, ran from 121 to 137, but you can see right at the open, it had a green candle. It tried to spike up, break out the pre-market highs, and then it just got stuffed and fell all the way back down. Let's see, VLRX, I believe, was one as well. VLRX, same thing. Looked like an awesome play during pre-market. It was a big gapper. And then at market open, it tried to spike up and then it just slammed back down. HEAR, I believe, was a midday runner, but during market open, it was kind of slow. So, market open, not that much volume, wasn't moving whatsoever, but towards midday is where it started to heat up and get some more action. But even this one, the 1 minute chart is very, very choppy, showing that it's very low volume. And we don't want to trade these low volume stocks. You want stocks that have liquidity. We want to be able to get in and get out with no problems and no slippage. When you trade stocks that are illiquid, you tend to have more slippage. And what I mean by slippage is that, say that you want to sell HEAR at this price of around $5, and there's only one bidder at like 20 cents below that price. Well, the only way you can get out is by selling to that guy, and you're going to instantly lose 20 cents more per share than you planned on doing. When you have a liquid market, there's not going to be a big spread between the bid and the ask. And, on a stock like HEAR, if we just zoom into the 1 minute candle, you can see in this 1 minute, it traded from 523 down to 517. Now, that doesn't seem like much, but that kind of slippage can really hurt you if you're trading with bigger size. And then we see MYND pop up on the scanner. IFON popped up on the scanner at 939. And you can see this one, it's a low float. It's a previous runner, but you can see it popped up and then just fizzled off and did nothing. So it had that volume, it had the initial spike, but it didn't get that secondary move. And we really need to avoid chasing these plays and wait for the stocks that have that pullback, the healthy pullback, and then the next move on up. So like I said, after MYND, I didn't really see much that was really nice to trade. Nothing really had amazing price action until around 10 a.m., which is when CHEK popped up on the scanners. So CHEK, previous runner, we've been talking about this play for the past week now. If you look at the daily chart, last week it had a very strong spike from $4 all the way up to almost $20 per share in 3 days. So very awesome spike. And then it had a massive crash down to the $8 range. And now it's starting to kind of bounce back up. So this morning, it didn't look strong at all. We had it on our watch list, but I wasn't really paying attention to these dips. But looking back at it now, of course, hindsight's 20/20, but you can still notice these things real time if you look for it. That this morning we did have a pretty strong sell-off. However, we made 2 bounces, and the second bounce was a higher low. So that's a key sign to look for if you want to see strength in a stock. We have 2 dips, makes a higher low. That shows that the dip is being bought up by bulls, and people are bullish on this stock. So after that second dip, we really got some nice volume here, and I was watching this one, and because of my MYND trade, I didn't really want to force anything because it didn't look like my ideal setup. I usually don't play these red to green moves, but it seems like they're working more often recently. So what I mean by red to green is not by the previous close, even though in this case previous close would work, but whenever I trade red to green moves, I go off of the market open. So that would be this price right here, which is $8.90. So let me just draw a horizontal line there at 890. And then you can see once we hit that price, we start to really have just lots of buying pressure against that price. And you can see the increase in volume. Always watch the volume on these breakouts. As a breakout happens, volume will increase. If volume does not increase, it has a higher chance of being a fake out breakout, and you're going to buy the top of something and it's going to crash right back down. So I was watching this one in my live stream actually, and as this broke out over red to green, I was saying, wow, this is getting some nice volume. It's probably going to get halted. But even though I said it's probably going to get halted, I personally did not want to get into it just because I wasn't too confident in it. And then sure enough, squeezes up past that red to green move, gets lots of volume, and then gets halted at 1028. So of course at that point I was like, oh man, I just missed out on a very strong runner. Opens up out of the halt and then just keeps squeezing higher. And this was a simple trendline play on CHEK. You could really just draw on this trend line that rides along the bottom and then just take your profits when the trend line breaks. So you can see it kept on squeezing higher and higher, and you could just have these flat top wedges kind of. Now, of course, because it's higher priced, it is a bit choppier, and because it's such a low float, it doesn't really use resistance levels perfectly. These higher priced stocks, especially low float stocks, they really like to use mental numbers as resistance and support. So your whole dollars, especially your half dollars and your quarter dollars, if you look at these prices, you will see that a lot of them tend to end up around 25 cents, 50 cents, 75 cents, and whole dollar numbers. So you could have played this flat top wedge and you could have just rode it on the way up and scalped it. But of course, the best entry would have been down here at the red to green move. And then after this big squeeze, we've been getting this one price action or chart pattern that's been working really often recently. And this is after we have like a morning spike and it holds its gains. We make a wedge on the 15-minute. You can see you just draw a trend line that connects down these candles. And as the price consolidates for around an hour or so, and you see pressure building up against the price, which you can see if you go down to like the 5-minute chart, you can see the pressure is really building up against it. And then it just breaks out of that and squeezes on higher. So if you look at the 1-minute chart, you can really see what I mean by the price just building up against it. So let me just modify this a little bit because I think my line is off quite a bit. Okay, so you can see we have this trend line. We hit this top, and then after this top, we pull back. We don't pull back all the way down. We keep making higher lows. So of course, you want to look for higher lows as well, because higher lows mean that there's strength. There's bullish strength. People are buying the dips. They're anticipating a breakout. And you could also draw this trend line here, just connecting these lows. And you can see we kind of just squeezed up tighter and tighter and tighter, bouncing off. But we kept making higher lows. And then boom, we break out of that price of around $12.30, and we get big volume. You can see a clear difference down here of how low volume it was over here, and how much volume there was once it broke out. That's a clear signal to buy. Now, I did buy this breakout. I did not go aggressive on it whatsoever because I usually do not trade midday, but I did buy the breakout. I alerted it in chat. I was watching this wedge for around 2 hours, and I said, CHEK is making a wedge breakout. I would buy over the confirmation of 1250, and that's what I did. I bought, I think, 250 shares at 1250, and I took my profits way, way, way too soon. But thankfully, I was able to turn my $50 loss into a $150 gain on the day, and I was able to close out my month green. The last day of the month was green. That's awesome. Overall month, I'm green, so that's really awesome. Hopefully, next month there will be some stronger momentum. But I'm just going to take it trade by trade, day by day. I'm not going to force anything. I don't want to expect big wins every day, because once you start to expect big wins every day, you're going to take bad trades, not unplanned trades, and you're going to be way too aggressive when you don't need to. Right now, the market is saying to not be aggressive. So I'm just going to wait until we get that low float volatility back in the morning, and then I'll be aggressive. But right now, taking it slow, taking it trade by trade, just slowly building up my account, getting ready for the next time we have that explosive momentum, because when it comes, I will be ready for it and I will be banking on it. So just some nice chart patterns for you guys. CHEK was probably the best stock midday. We also had HTBX, which was just a classic pump and dump play. Now, pump and dumps are fine if you understand that it's a pump and dump. And the reason why I'm saying that this one is a pump and dump, because you can see it had no price action whatsoever for the whole morning until 12:30, which is when it started to get some volume, and it was just dominating high-day scans because nothing else was moving. It was such a slow market today, except for a select few like CHEK and HTBX, that when you have HTBX breaking out, because this is technically making new highs, it shows up on the scanner, and then people buy it up, and then it just gets pumped like crazy. This went from $1.20, hit a high of $2.65. And there's just some really awesome patterns on this one, like this flat top wedge here against 175. Once again, that nice round number, 75 cents, a quarter of a dollar. Nice flat top wedge. You can see as it broke out, got big volume. And then of course in here it's kind of a bit choppier. If you look at the 5-minute, I believe there was a wedge play on it. Not really. You could have bought one of the candles that made a new high, but it was kind of choppy. The best bet on this one would just be to buy the dip against VWAP. That's not my pattern, but that's just one thing that I noticed by looking at this chart. It held VWAP pretty much all day. So HTBX, as far as watching it tomorrow, doesn't have any news, so I'm kind of worried about trading it. But if it gets the volume, then of course we can't ignore the volume, because that is the thing that moves stuff in the end of the day. You know, of course, news is great, but if there's great news and no one's trading it, it's not going to go anywhere. It all depends on where the volume is. One more thing I want to mention is GNPX, because I know that this was one on everyone's watch list. This was an IPO back in April, and it's had a very awesome breakout over 625 on Thursday, I believe, and it just squeezed up to almost $20. Now, the one thing I want to say about GNPX is that it looks like it's going to go red tomorrow. This was one of the things that I was mentioning, how we looked like we were going to have a great gap and go play, but it just got stuffed right at market open and it just fell. It tried to break out over the pre-market highs, spiked up around $1 per share above the highs, and then just got stuffed. Lots of shorts jumped on it and then just slammed it back on down. And now it's barely green on the day. Looking at the daily chart, we have 3 long top wicks on the daily, and the stochastics on the daily are just about to cross over. So we also had lower volume today, so all the signs on GNPX are pointing towards a red day tomorrow. So if you can find shares to short, look at shorting GNPX on the first red day. Don't ever try to short on the first green day, because that is just asking for disaster. Always be safe. Try to short on the first red day. I am starting to learn more about shorting, and as the market shifts possibly into a bear market in the next few months, I will be looking to short more plays. So I'll obviously keep you guys updated on that, and I'll make new videos as time goes on. If I do start to do a lot of shorting, you will see that, of course. But that's basically it for this video. If you guys stuck around for this whole video, I assume that you guys enjoyed this content. If you did, please leave a like, leave a subscription, leave a comment down below with any questions. I go back and read through them and respond to as many as I can. There's a bunch of them, so I'm sorry if I don't get back to yours. If you want to email me directly, my email is tony@tonyivanov.com. Ignore all the scam emails out there. That's not me. People like to copy my YouTube profile and have like a Gmail account as the email and ask you to email them. Don't do that. My only email is tony@tonyivanov.com. And if you guys would like to learn more about trading, I have a free ebook of how to day trade every morning, and it goes through the top 4 things you need when trading in the morning. It goes over technical analysis. It goes over the catalysts to look for. It goes over where to buy and where to sell, and how to find these plays before they spike. So if you are interested in that, it's the first link down below, completely free. All I ask for is your email. And if you want to join my Trade Buddy live streams where you can watch me trade every single morning live, there's a 7-day free trial also down below. And if you want to get into my lifetime mentorship program, where you get access to my 10-hour long penny stock mastery course and lifetime access to my Trade Buddy live streams and chat room, link is down below as well. It's a very good value. I have over 100 really satisfied students, so check it out. If you have any questions about it, email me. I'll be happy to help you out. All right, guys, thank you all so much. Be sure you check out my website, tradebuddy.net/blog, tonight to see my nightly watch list, and then, of course, tomorrow morning for the updated pre-market watch list. And I hope to see you guys in the chat room. Thank you all so much.